Hi, Allison. My name is Emily, and I'm a Writing Center instructor, and I'm going to talk to you about your draft. First off, thanks for sending it in. There's a lot that's going well in your application draft. I'm particularly pleased by your use of detail. One of the things I always talk about when we do application drafts is you want to be memorable in some way. Your reader is going to have, 20 drafts to get through and it's a Sunday night, and you have to have some way to stand out. And I think your use of detail and your use of personal anecdotes is working really well for that. This is a really catchy opening story. It catches your attention to hear that you had a traumatic brain injury that you managed to persevere through. That's a great opening. It's a great opening hook. Moreover, getting in detail about your experience with Amy also emphasizes detail. It emphasizes the fact that, you're not just saying generalizations that absolutely anyone could say, but there's something really specific and really you about this, and that's working really nicely. But there are two things that I want to encourage you to work on as you're continuing to develop this personal statement. First off, I want to talk about your introduction, and second, about your organizing structure in general. I know you said that you were concerned about both of those, and I think we can address them a little bit. That said, I know you mentioned you were also concerned about grammar. I'm not seeing many grammar issues that are impeding my understanding at all. Nothing's really jumping out. You're writing clearly. First off, though, to talk about your introduction, I want to encourage you to maintain a narrow focus. Because this is your reader's entry into this piece, I want to encourage you to really think about ushering your reader along and kind of guiding your reader through, not surprising them by making them do too much work, since this is a personal statement essay. So first, if we can talk about your first sentence. You say, "Life is something to fight for and perhaps is the greatest pursuit that humans will ever know." This is a really big generalization, and it kind of jarred me as a reader because it's kind of too broad for you to possibly be able to address fully in the context of a application essay. Because of that, I'm sitting there with these generalizations and abstractions, and I as a reader don't know exactly where your essay is going. So the abstraction makes it a little bit confusing, and I want to encourage you to think of a way to open your essay in a way that's more personal to you. I think it's okay if you hit these generalizations, if you hit these abstractions in your essay, but starting on something more specific, something that's more you, is a better way to usher your reader in. On a similar note of thinking about your focus and ushering your reader in, I want to ask you if you can address more concretely how your opening anecdote actually relates to the purpose of this essay, how it relates to your motivations to be a PA. You don't quite make this connection in the second part of your introduction. You say you had this TBI that you persevered through, and then you say that the clinic would eventually become your inspiration. But you haven't told me why I should care about your TBI, except for, obviously that's a stunning experience. But, me as an application reader, you haven't told me what this says about you, what this says about why you want to be a PA. If you're giving this anecdote prime placement by putting it in your intro paragraph, it should do some work to answer the question of why you want to be a PA. So if you can make that connection, it seems like there is a connection, but it's not coming completely out in your paper. I want to encourage you to think about using this anecdote to first answer the question of why you want to be a PA. Then thinking about answering that question of why you want to be a PA in a more general sense in your paper, I do want to encourage you to think about where you're actually answering the question. For me, it seems like these three paragraphs aren't specifically talking about being a PA. You talk about being a PA specifically here and here, and I think you do a good job of it when you talk about being a PA. But it kind of surprised me as a reader that up here, for example, you're giving this really interesting anecdote, but you're not making the connection explicitly to why you want to be a PA. Because this is an application essay, because people are going to be reading a lot of these and trying to get a sense of you as a person and a future PA really quickly, I want to encourage you to foreground your answer, to make clear that you have a structure to this piece and you have a good reason for wanting to be a PA. So is there a way that you can answer why you want to be a PA, like maybe up here somewhere or up here, and use that anecdote to help explain why you want to be a PA instead of using the anecdote and then concluding with why you want to be a PA? I do want to encourage you to think about that structural decision. Overall, though, this is a really good draft. You're doing a lot that's working well in it. I just want to encourage you to think about the organization of your intro and your whole piece, especially as it has to do with answering the question in particular. Thank you for sending in your Writing Center draft, and good luck editing this. We would be happy to look at it again if you want to make an appointment at the main center or if you want to send it back in as an email draft. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.